Hello everyone, it's Shannon with Shannon's Crafty DIYs. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am in another fun collaboration. This is actually a Canadian collaboration and it's titled We're in Lockdown. I am going to mention the hosts in a little bit in my video, so stick around for that. The point of this video is, we can only buy essential items right now in Ontario, and so what we can do is create home decor pieces using essential items only. So that could be anything from garden, bath and beauty, or kitchen items as well. So these three decor pieces that I'm going to share with you are more how to decorate flower arrangements. You can also use these bases as gift baskets as well. So why don't we begin with today's video? So for the first DIY, I'm taking these pylons that I got from the Dollarama. It is a 4-pack and it was $3. So all I need is one of them. Now they are quite flimsy. They aren't like your regular pylons, but what I'm gonna do is just cut off the flap at the top of the pylon. Very simple to do because it is a very soft plastic. I am gonna keep just about a couple millimeters at the top so that way the pylon stays intact as well. So now I just want to wrap the pylon. So I had some of this burlap paper from Dollarama, and I also found this printed jute roll. It was $3 and I thought it was beautiful. So I'm actually going to make 4 triangles. So 2 of the regular burlap and 2 of the printed burlap. And again, I have never really wrapped this like a bouquet before in my life, so I am kind of just improvising as I go. So I'm just again using one of the triangles and just using it as my stencil to cut out 3 more. So now I'm just going to take the burlap paper and the pattern paper and I'm just going to overlap them, just kind of alternating each pattern. Now I had to improvise here a little bit because I only had so much left of the burlap paper, so it doesn't cover right to the tip of the cone. So you will see in a moment what I do to cover that. So here is what it looks like so far. Now you'll know why I didn't really need to cover the bottom of the cone right now, because I'm just going to do half of the cone with jute twine. So I'm just going to wrap it around just like I do with my planter pots and whatnot. So very easy to do. You don't have to hot glue every single section. I just kind of wrap it around several times and then do a little hot glue. Wrap it around, do a little hot glue. So you see here I come to the top of the cone. So I just added a little scrap piece of the burlap and I'm just going to hot glue it in place, and then that way I can just continue on using my jute twine, because if you don't do this step you will see the orange through the pylon. So that is my mistake as I went along with it, but again, it is, you learn as you go sometimes, right? So now I'm just going to burn off the excess fibers of the jute twine, and I just use another piece of scrap burlap and just put it on the inside of the pylon so that way you don't see any orange. And I just made a simple bow using the jute twine, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the top of the burlap. Now what I loved about the jute twine is it kind of curled a little bit because this was one of my scrap pieces of jute twine, so it was kind of bunched in my bag, so it had that natural curl like a ribbon, if that makes sense. So I loved it the way it was. So I'm just adding a handle to the back. Now, can you call it a bouquet yet without flowers? I do not know. So I didn't show you this part, but I did fill it with flowers and I think this turned out absolutely gorgeous. The fact that I have never made a bouquet like this before, I was super impressed with myself. I hope you guys liked this DIY. I love it. Love, love, love it. So this collab is hosted by Lisa and Company, Schroen's Nest, Domestic Diva, and my good friend Antoinette from Simple Yet Chic. These ladies are amazing. I am going to leave all of their links in the description box, so I would love it if you guys could go over to their channel, say hello from me. And yes, all right, so let's move on to DIY number 2. Remember I hauled this Royale Kleenex box like literally a week ago? I thought, you know what? I am going to use this in a DIY. I loved this pattern so much, as you guys know. So I'm actually going to remove the Kleenex. Now I am not going to waste it because you guys know Craig's allergies are super severe right now. So this Kleenex is going to be gone no time at all. So all I'm doing is removing the Kleenex and I'm just going to cut off the excess flaps. So here's what it looks like with the top off. Now I didn't really want the brown to be visible on the inside, so I'm going to add some black acrylic paint. Now I don't need to cover the whole entire inside of the box. What I'm going to do is just create like maybe an inch border around the inside of the box. So that way when I fill it, you will just see the black, you won't see any of the brown. So here's what it looks like. Now I just want to add some legs to the base. So remember these jars I hauled from Dollar Tree last year? I love them. They are so gorgeous. They hold my wooden beads so perfectly. So I'm going to take some of the wooden beads and I'm going to take some of these square cubes that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue 2 cubes and 1 bead together to create a really fun leg. Now you'll see here in just a moment, I'm going to use my table to make sure that the legs are straight as the glue is setting. So now I'm just going to hot glue each of them to the corners of the box. So just to match the box, I'm just going to paint the legs black with my acrylic paint. Now, one of the things, so even though we can only use essential items, we were still allowed to incorporate items that we already had on hand. Again, because we have to essentially craft our stash because we cannot buy craft supplies currently right now. So we have to improvise. So here they look like all done. Now I'm just taking my black Sharpie marker. I'm just going to color in that Royale sign just to blend it in a little bit. And what I'm going to do is take some of this satin ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to add it to the bottom just in order to cover the Royale sign as well. So I'm just using my glue stick that I had from the Dollar Tree. So just continue doing this all around so that way you create the border just on the bottom. I think this is coming together along so well. I am super excited about this DIY. So I'm just going to add some greenery to the inside. Now this is again customizable. You can add flowers, greenery, whatever you want. Now you can't really add anything too heavy because the base is pretty weak. You could add some wood in there if you wanted to make a sturdier base. So what I'm doing here, I'm out of floral foam, so I'm just using one of these foam wreath foams that I had. Remember when I made the little life preserver in my last DIY video? So I'm just going to, before hot gluing them into the base, I'm just going to add a couple of the stems inside and then I will hot glue it after. So I'm adding just a few different types of greenery here just to make it look full. And so after I filled everything up, I was like, this is finished, but I'm like, no, it's not. So the top of the box still showed some of the brown. So I'm just using my Sharpie marker and just drawing over the edges. And honestly, this changed the look so much in my opinion. So you'll see here in just a second how it all turned out. Oh my gosh, guys, it even sparkles too. This turned out so adorable. I love it. I think it looks so modern farmhouse. It almost looks a little boho as well. What do you guys think of this DIY? So the third and final DIY, yes guys, a Triscuit box. You know I've hauled so many of these from the Dollar Tree lately. They have so many different flavors, so why not use one of them in a DIY? So this part for what I'm doing was sort of unnecessary, but it is better if you're going to use tissue paper or something. You'll see why in just a moment. So all I'm going to do, just be very careful not to rip it too much, and I'm going to cut it and I'm going to reverse it and hot glue it back together again inside out. And you'll see in just a second, I sometimes move too quickly and don't think about things in advance. I should have cut these tabs off first before hot gluing everything back in place, but it still works in the end, right guys? So I cut off the top tabs, but I'm keeping the bottom tabs as is, and I'm just gonna reattach them with some hot glue. So remember this gorgeous wrapping paper I hauled at Dollarama a while ago? I get to use this in my DIY. I just loved the floral print on it so much. And I love the fact that it has a grid on the inside, so way easier for cutting, for wrapping in the future as well. So I'm just measuring out how much I need, and I'm just gonna cut out the size. So I have this double-sided tape and I'm only using it sparingly, guys. This is so hard to find right now. So I'm just using one piece and taping everything together. Now, I just like the double-sided tape so that we don't have to see the tape on the outside, if you know what I mean. So then I'm just using my regular tape now to attach everything else. Remember the flamingo tape that they have at the Dollar Tree? I got this last year. I'm so excited. I love it so much. So I'm just wrapping the bottom as if you would normally gift. Now, in this case, that little tab there, I would have folded it a little bit more as well, just to cover any imperfections. But this case, I didn't want it to be too bulky on the bottom because I am using it as a stand. So now I'm just going to tuck in the top of the paper, and I'm just going to use some tape just to seal everything in place. Because this is so lightweight right now and anything you put in it is just going to topple over, I'm just using some of these marbles that I had on hand, and I'm going to just put them on the bottom of the box. There's just to weigh it down. Now these leaves, I forgot the packaging, but I think it was only $1.50, if not $2 from the Dollarama. These leaves are absolutely gorgeous. I do have another package somewhere. I just cannot find it right now. So what I want to do is I want to recreate the green leaves on the package as you see here. So this is a trial and error. I was using the sea spray and the turquoise green, mixing them together. And then I also had a leaf green as well. And it was close enough. I did do one coat with this mixture. However, when it dried, it was still kind of like a fluorescent green. In my opinion, it was like a fluorescent green. So all you have to do, guys, to make it that beautiful sage green, I just added a dash of black acrylic paint and it came out perfect. You will see in just a second what I mean. Like, seriously guys, check this out. You do not need to buy a paint that is this exact color because, again, you can recreate it with what you have on hand. Just using some of this scrap burlap ribbon, I am also reattaching the jute twine that came with the leaf as well, and I'm going to wrap it around the ribbon, and I'm going to hot glue it just to the top of the box. So I was actually just using one of those claw clips just to hold the leaf in place before I actually sealed it with some hot glue. So I'm just repositioning it to the center of the box, and you'll see here I just will reattach the claw clip so that way it holds it in place, and now I'm going to hot glue it. So I didn't show you this part, but I did add some of those wild roses that I got from the Dollar Tree. Check this out, guys, out of a Triscuit box. This to me looks more boho, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. What do you guys think? This was such a fun collab using essential items only. I had so much fun. Please head over to Lisa & Company, Schrowen's Nest, Domestic Diva, and Simple Yet Chic's channel. I will leave their links in the description box. I would love it if you guys could hit that subscribe button and click the bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video. I hope you guys had a wonderful time with this video. I hope you stay safe and have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see you at the next video. Bye.